Prologue. In 1959, eminent but controversial Austrian archaeologist Edmund Kiss becomes increasingly obsessed with unraveling the mysteries surrounding Tiwanaku's Gate of the Sun in the ancient Bolivian Andes, an elaborately carved stone gateway warning of death for any mortal who dares enter. Despite his fearful assistant's dire warnings about sinister local legends, the headstrong Kiss remains utterly convinced the archway hides proof of an amazingly advanced lost civilization possessing profound esoteric wisdom far surpassing modern science. Against all advice, Kiss orders his nervous young assistant Paolo to approach carrying a satchel purportedly containing a protective crystal. But as Paolo nears the threshold, the bag violently shakes with searing heat. Before he can flee, an eruption of blinding light bursts from the gate, completely engulfing Paolo's body within its terrifying radiance. When the disturbance ominously fades seconds later, Paolo has vanished without a trace, leaving only scorched earth where he stood. What dreadful forgotten forces did Kiss's arrogance unleash? In the back streets of modern Athens, Neil, a daring spy working for British intelligence, has spent months living undercover, secretly infiltrating an enigmatic ancient order led by the charismatic scholar Buri, seeking mythical artifacts tied to mystical portals. After finally managing to steal a metallic disc covered in cryptic runic symbols from Buri's extensive private collection, Neil attempts to covertly smuggle out the vital stolen evidence. But Buri and his thuggish followers eventually trap Neil in a deserted alley after an exhaustive chase through Athens' winding streets. When confronted by his pursuers, Buri ominously reveals they are high-ranking members of an ancient order seeking the artifacts to unlock mystical gateways and rule humanity as living deities. For this outrageous betrayal, Buri viciously murders Neil on the spot, determined to keep his dangerous occult agenda concealed at any cost. In their state-of-the-art laboratory in Atlanta, researchers Tara and Alex are intensely focused on analyzing a radiant sample of quantium, an utterly inexplicable new element defying the laws of physics, when a heavily armed tactical team suddenly storms inside, led by FBI agent Brooks, demanding immediate confiscation of the anomalous substance. But before the tense standoff boils over, Emily Starks, director of the redacted government agency known as Axis, arrives and intervenes, swiftly dispelling the furious Brooks. Emily urgently recruits the confused Tara and Alex for a covert overseas mission to secretly investigate recent audacious museum thefts across Europe, possibly connected to the shocking death of a British agent in Greece. Within hours, she has secured passports and escorted them to her waiting private jet, launching the researchers into a dangerous global adventure. In Athens, relentless local police detective Dimitri has become obsessed with investigating Neil's highly suspicious death, adamantly convinced it was no random suicide as officially ruled. After discovering cryptic runic notes filled with arcane symbols covertly hidden under the bed in Neil's motel room, Dimitri begins detecting connections to a rash of bold recent thefts, targeting priceless artifacts at major European archaeological museums. Convinced catching the brazen thieves red-handed could finally help him identify Neil's true ruthless killers, Dimitri secretly plans an unauthorized sting operation using a forged antiquity as bait to try luring them into a cunning trap inside the Athens Acropolis Museum itself. But defying orders could spell the end of his career if anything goes wrong. Arriving in Athens, Tara and Alex covertly meet with the driven detective Dimitri at a nondescript cafe, having been sent by Emily to aid his dangerous unofficial investigation. Reviewing the evidence Dimitri compiled, Tara and Alex soon share his certainty that Neil was indeed murdered and didn't merely commit suicide as officially concluded. They hatch a plan to continue probing into both the baffling recent thefts and Neil's possible connection to the crimes in complete secrecy. Tara and Alex hope Dimitri can help them identify who is behind the shadowy criminal plot so they can recover the stolen antiquities and finally bring Neil's true killers to justice before anyone else gets hurt. On the idyllic Greek island of Crete, cunning cult leader Bury has become consumed with personally traveling to Boston to forcibly secure the final pivotal artifact his organization desperately requires from Harvard's esteemed museum collection in order to finally complete his life's work. Once he obtains the ancient relic by any means necessary, Bury will at long last wield all the mythic artifacts needed to unlock the gate's prophesied mystical powers and awaken as an immortal deity destined to mercilessly rule over humanity for eternity. Somewhere in Athens, Bury covertly meets with museum security officials on his payroll and continues preparations for stealing the final artifact by gathering inside intelligence. Once armed with the schematics and access codes provided by these corrupt insiders, Bury will be able to ensure his team of mercenaries can rapidly bypass the museum's defenses and breach the vaults housing the antiquities. When Dimitri's risky, unauthorized sting operation catastrophically backfires, Bury's ruthless private army of ex-military mercenaries suddenly storms the Athens Acropolis Museum. They viciously eliminate the assembled undercover police task force before escaping with the bait artifact. In the chaotic aftermath of Bury's brazen, broad daylight museum attack, Tara and Alex valiantly pursue his escaping henchmen through Athens's congested streets. But despite their efforts, the researchers ultimately fail to catch up to the villains before they manage to rendezvous with a getaway vehicle and speed away. Surveying the sheer devastation left behind, a shell-shocked Dimitri comprehends the full horror of his reckless gambit's tragic failure and braces for the impending fallout that is certain to end his law enforcement career. With Dimitri now suspended indefinitely over the disastrous botched operation, Tara and Alex know it is up to them to somehow convince him to continue investigating both the baffling recent thefts and Neil's unsolved murder before the trail goes cold. In the somber aftermath of the disastrous failed museum operation that ended with dead police officers and Bury's mercenaries escaping unscathed, a defiant Dimitri agrees to continue investigating Neil's unsolved murder, as well as the odd string of archaeology-related thefts at museums across Europe, and the operation will be strictly off the books. Having crossed moral and ethical lines he would have never imagined, a wearied yet even more determined Dimitri knows he must see this mystery through to the end in order to bring those truly responsible to justice. After studying Neil's pages of cryptic runes, Tara and Alex finally figure out the symbols correspond perfectly to the same European museums and archaeological institutions previously targeted by Bury's organization. Sharing this revelation, they all concur that the pattern strongly indicates the next logical target will likely be Harvard's Archaeology Museum, which houses countless, priceless artifacts and antiquities within its hallowed halls. However, without access to official police resources, how can they possibly hope to pick up Bury's trail, thwart his plans in time, and uncover the truth behind the baffling plot? Obsessed with the promise of final victory, cult leader Bury boards a private jet bound for Boston, intent on seizing the last pivotal artifact he still requires. Concealed a disguise, not even his own followers could recognize the international criminal as he travels across the Atlantic Ocean to finish his decades-long pursuit. He knows that soon he will breach the mystical boundary between dimensions and at long last achieve his twisted vision of ruling over humanity as an immortal living deity. Alex and Tara know that Bury's next target is the Harvard Museum in Boston, Massachusetts, and decide to set out with their new Greek friend to intercept the villains before it's too late. While the team is preparing to leave for the United States, a bomb explodes in Dimitri's apartment. Everyone survives the blast by redirecting the bomb out the window, but the attacker then infiltrates the apartment to finish the job. Dimitri fatally shoots the assassin, confirming a corrupt insider in the police department told the Ahnenerbe where he lived. At the airport, Tara discovers a secret message on the list about the artifact's ability to open a dangerous gate. The Ahnenerbe is trying to eliminate anyone who gets close to foiling their apocalyptic plot. Alex and Tara fear for young Boston's safety now that the Ahnenerbe is willing to murder those interfering with their portal plans. Arriving exhausted at Boston's home after evading another assassination attempt, Alex, Tara, and Dmitri learn from the boy genius that the Ahnenerbe already struck the Harvard Museum. The robbery succeeded by using diversion across town to push the police away from the museum. Boston explains that rare pre-Columbian stones were stolen, likely part of the key to open the mysterious portal. Fortunately, the young collector already hid his artifact in a secure bank with the help of former Delta Force operator Dak Harper. At Boston's Tennessee home, the boy explains the theory that his artifact is one of the ancient Mesoamerican relics capable of opening or sealing a portal, perhaps into another dimension. He confirms the villains are gathering specific artifacts tied to Nazi pseudoscience. Boston reveals that the rare artifacts being gathered by the Ahnenerbe are linked to a mystical portal in Bolivia known as the Sun Gate, built by the pre-Columbian Tiwanaku culture. The artifacts serve as keys capable of opening or sealing the Sun Gate portal, which the Nazis aim to harness for mystical powers during World War II. According to an encoded riddle Boston received, reuniting all the artifacts, known as sunstones, will unlock the portal. However, Boston has the last sunstones. Alex and Tara know their young friend is the Ahnenerbe's true final target, and Dak's security measures may only delay the inevitable confrontation over the final sunstone key. With global implications at stake, Alex and Tara must unravel the Sungate's secrets before it's too late. After acquiring the second-to-last sunstone, Burry flies to Chattanooga, Tennessee, home of the final person who can squash his plans, young genius named Boston. The kid holds the last sunstone, capable of sealing the gate forever. By framing a boat bombing as a terrorist attack, Burry knows media hysteria will conceal that it was a diversion to steal the artifact. His trap has been perfectly laid to finally remove Boston as the final obstacle before opening the gateway to power. The Ahnenerbe will stop at nothing now to capture Boston alive and force him to surrender the final relic key. After a daring escape from an ambush at Boston's home, the Americans receive an ominous phone call from Dimitri's number. But it isn't the Greek's voice on the line. It's Burry. He demands they hand over the powerful artifact in exchange for the injured Dimitris, whom Burry is holding hostage. Alex refuses at first, but eventually agrees to the meeting when Burry threatens to torture Dmitri. The group realizes they have to travel to the ancient ruins at Tiwanaku in Bolivia to make the exchange. Alex and Tara are beside themselves over the capture of Dmitri. Dak reveals to them that he moved Boston's artifact, but they know it's highly possible that Dmitri is already dead. Arriving near the ancient ruins of Tiwanaku, high in the mountains of Bolivia, Tara, Alex, and Dak carefully survey the area before their arranged meeting with Burry. While Tara and Alex pretend to be normal tourists visiting the site, Dak scouts the surrounding area to get the layout of the land and ensure he can watch over them during the meeting. With some time still before noon, Tara and Alex explore the intricate stone walls and marvel at the precise construction of the mystical Sun Gate, wondering what awaits on the other side if these stones really open a portal. At the ruins, Burry forces Tara and Alex to decide which of them will enter the dangerous portal. Just before Tara steps into it, Dak creates a diversion by remotely detonating explosives, allowing Tara to destroy the portal. Chaos ensues as Tara and Alex grab weapons and a fierce gunfight erupts. Dak pursues Burry and an intense hand-to-hand fight ensues. Tara sees Dak fighting the villain Burry one-on-one before being knocked down and stabbed with a knife. As Burry is about to deliver a lethal blow, Tara sees the confrontation from a distance and shoots Burry to save Dak's life. Government agent Brooks arrives on scene, threatening to ruin them and confiscate all the artifacts, but he is promptly dismissed by Axis director Emily Starks, who gets there just in time to intervene. After receiving medical treatment for their various wounds, the Americans recover near the ruins and discuss what comes next. Dak calls to check on young Boston, Before leaving, Brooks embarrasses himself by proving he has no idea who Dak is, despite Dak's elite reputation. Weeks later, the villain mastermind is being transported to a new maximum security prison after being treated for his injuries. En route, Burry grows suspicious when the trip seems to take much longer than expected. Suddenly, the vehicle stops in a remote area, and armed men open the door, having killed the police guards inside. Agent Brooks has helped orchestrate his escape. Burry schemes with Brooks, who helped free him. Though disappointed by the failures at Tiwanaku, Burry hints there are other ancient sites with mystical portals they can access to still achieve their malevolent goals of otherworldly power. This has been a summary of Hell's Gate by Ernest Dempsey. If you'd like to read the entire story, click the link in the description to visit the Amazon page and get your Kindle or paperback copy.